What's up, beautiful PHP people? How everyone is feeling today? Welcome back to another live stream. Excited to see you all today. Charking, how you doing? Nice to see you. Edil, what's up? How you doing? Agent, nice to see you. All Alone, how you doing? Welcome, everyone. We are doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. And welcome back to another Urgent PHP. And let's actually just introduce already Brent Rose from JetBrains. Brent, how you doing today, chat?
Hey, folks. Good to be here, Nuno. Excited for another one. I had one scheduled for last week, and I messaged you. I was like, where are you?
I know. I was all... So, fun fact.
Yeah.
I was off, but for a good reason. So I did a 48 hours live stream, as you may have seen. And I was super happy with the event and everything. But I lost my voice for 4 days.
No, yeah, I get that. I get it.
So
it's a good excuse.
I end the live stream, so this was like Friday morning. I didn't have voice, and I thought, okay, we'll be only for 1 day. But I didn't add my voice for 4 days straight. So that's why I didn't actually was able to do
it. Can be
podcast.
brutal, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the 48 hours?
Yeah, by the way, chat, how many of you were on the 48 hours live stream? I had a bunch of fun. I think it was way more fun than I thought. It was also way more work than I thought.
Yeah.
But it was just hilarious, dude. Like, by the end of the live stream, we actually had, like, the Slack working as expected with PHP and Laravel.
Yeah, I
and
saw that.
I was, like, communicating with people on the app itself. And it was so fun. Sharking is saying he was there. Sabrita, how you doing? Stefan, welcome everyone. And yeah, it was super fun, man. I had a blast. And
Cool.
But I lost my voice for 4 days, so
Yeah.
I couldn't do shit afterwards. So I was just resting a little bit my voice, and that was it. That was it.
The live stream giveth and the live stream taketh, and you just have to deal with it.
Yes. Patricio, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. Welcome everyone. John Sugar, how you doing, dude? By the way, chat, today we are here to have the third episode of Urgent PHP, a podcast about PHP drama, and we have as a host me and Brent Rose from JetBrains. And today on the pipe we have TrueAsync, functional autoloading, Structs on PHP. Talking a little bit about the dev set that we should use as PHP developers in 2026. Getting started with PHP, which is apparently something Brent is starting, and I want to know everything about that. Laracon US, which we have a bunch of news about this, and also PHP version stats, which is something Brent runs every single year. Drama? What drama? Dude, there is drama all over the place. Let's start with TrueAsync. Brent, have you tried TrueAsync before? Oh, not yet.
Yeah, I tried. I mean, I followed along with the 6 or 7 or 8 iterations that the RFC went through. Yes. It's an interesting topic, right?
Yes.
To be honest, it's not gonna happen, Nuno. It's not gonna happen. Same for generics. It's not gonna happen. And I know why. But yeah, it is what it is. So what are your thoughts about it?
Yeah, my thoughts. So there is multiple thoughts I have. Okay. First, thought number one. By the way, for those who are not familiar with this, TrueAsync is a project from a community member, and he brings literally async await to PHP. Now, this is the first async await implementation that I see on the PHP world that actually is good. Meaning that I have worked with previous async await implementations with Rector PHP, with, how is it called? Hemp PHP, I think.
PHP, yeah.
Yeah, and all of them were like, oh, you have async await in PHP, but you have to use our API, So you would have to use their own file function implementation. You would have to use their own WebSockets implementation, which kind of sucks a little bit in the sense that I want to use async await in Laravel. I want to use async await on past PHP. I want to use like the async await on my all existing code, and I couldn't. Now, this project, called it TrueAsync, actually allows you to keep using Laravel, keep using the APIs you love, but still you can do it in an asynchronous way, which is my opinion, makes this the best implementation of async await I have ever seen. Now, on the other hand, the way this got proposed to the core, to the PHP internals, meaning that, again, this is a project that you can try it out individually, is a project that ended up being also an RFC, meaning a proposal to be on the PHP language itself. But the way it got proposed to the internals, I knew instantly that wouldn't be accepted, just because how big it is. And we know by experience that every single time an RFC is big means no, because there is a bunch of stuff to discuss, a bunch of opinions, and end up being like rejected. So I think it's awesome as a project. I think like having that on the core will be literally impossible. That maybe that was your opinion as well. What do you think?
I agree. Like from the moment I saw it on the list, maybe the very first iteration there was a little bit of hope, but then things devolved, and I've been talking a little bit with Edmund, who's behind the RFC as well, especially after I wrote this a little bit of commentary on how PHP is managed these days by the committee, designed by the committee. And I was in touch with him as well, talking about it. And yeah, this is like the way PHP is governed just isn't like cannot lead to these kinds of, it cannot facilitate the process that's needed for these kinds of big changes to the language.
Big changes, yes.
And that's unfortunate. Same for generics. That maybe generics are still coming, like the wrong version, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just like years and years and years and years, Nuno. And this is actually we really need to think about this more carefully, because in this day and age, PHP really needs some momentum. It could really use some good positive momentum. And internals are doing some good things, good changes to the language, but like things that really matter, I would say. That being said, PHP already is a great language. Like we get by without native async await. If you really need async await in PHP, there are the solutions out there that they work, they are battle tested, they are used in large production deployments. So it's not like the end of the world. Not having generics is not the end of the world. Not having structs, small teaser for what's coming next, not the end of the world. But it's just like at this point, I love to write PHP. There are some things I would like to see improved, and it's likely not happening. So that's kind of my feeling about it. Yeah.
Hey, I have some thoughts. Before we jump into that, chat. We have literally more than 60 people watching the live stream, which is good in 5 minutes. However, we have only 11 likes. So all of you are going to go, unacceptable. So all of you go all the way down, click on the like button and subscribe to the channel if you want to see this number going up, which is very important. Let's say hi to Lucas, Veltix, Sharking, F. Parento. How you doing? Agent, nice to see you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. Today, we are here for Urgent PHP number 3, and we are currently discussing the TrueAsync 08 project. And Brent, about your opinion, I have to say something. So I feel like, again, there is pros and cons about the way changes are being introduced in the PHP language. I think like undeniably things cannot be just introduced like crazy, right? Because we have everyone doing PHP all over the place. So it's just difficult to have, like these big changes being introduced in the language. And in some way, I kind of appreciate the PHP core to go slow. At the same time, I also want generics, and I also want the Sync 08, and I also want all those features. So I saw like an issue on the TrueAsync project that the maintainer was actually thinking about giving up on the idea, right? Did you saw that one? No?
No.
Yeah, I saw like the maintainer saying that, I've been dedicating a lot of time into this, but now I just lost my job, or I want to move jobs. So for that reason, I'm going to do Go for a living and blah, 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 blah. So this project will likely to be just, die a little bit.
Okay.
And I feel like, just like the type PHP project, I feel like the solution for all this story, for having all this stuff, it needs to be some sort of TypeScript for PHP, meaning that it's kind of a new language that is backwards compatible with PHP, so it works just like PHP would behind the scenes. But like everyone new can start working on this new language, but every existing legacy stuff will continue to work with the old PHP. I think honestly it's the most sensible and best idea we can have of all of this story.
It is still kind of a compromise, but it might work. The problem with something like TypeScript, is that, behind TypeScript is a huge company, Microsoft. And they started working on a superset called TypeScript, and they worked on it for 1 or 2 years before releasing it to the world. PHP doesn't have that. There was Facebook with Hack, but then they kind of went another way, and that then didn't work out.
Right.
I would love it. I would love it if there's a company with lots of money. I don't know. Maybe such a company that says like, hey, but
I feel
maybe
you are
not
sending a message right now.
yeah, it could be a really viable option. That being said, if we're specifically talking about async await, there's no easy way to transpile whatever kind of syntax you come up with to native PHP that just runs everywhere. Like async await is a really low level feature that you cannot just add in a superset and then magically work. You would have to maybe include swool or amp in your compiled version. That might work.
That might work, yeah.
It's already getting pretty complex, right?
Right.
It's not impossible. I actually made a video, I think 4 years ago, where I talked about this exact idea of, hey, maybe we should just transpile PHP. But then you come to the question of, okay, who's going to make it? Who's going to maintain it? Who's going to pour in probably millions to make it into a success story? And yeah, I don't see that happening either. So yeah, we're stuck.
No. We need to be, I feel like I think we're making progress. Like this year, just in 1 year, we have seen TrueAsync, we have seen Type PHP from the small team. Like those seems good initiatives. With TrueAsync, in my opinion, not going anywhere due to the fact that the maintainer want to bail out a little bit. But Type PHP maybe goes somewhere, with the small team behind it.
Maybe
that is the language barrier that we talked about. But maybe it might be going elsewhere. Moving a little bit of topics here, we have function auto-loading that might be coming to PHP. As a person who loves functions on past PHP, but also I love functional APIs in general. I feel like, Termwind have a functional API. Many of my projects have actually functions just as an API. Instead of giving a class with a static method, I just give you functions that you can use. Yeah. And originally, the problem with functions is that they cannot be auto-loaded, meaning that if you were to do something like use function XYZ, the function needs to be required from the get-go, regardless of if you use it or if you don't use it. So what function autoloading is introducing is the same mechanism as class autoloading, which is what Composer uses behind the scenes. And I don't know the status of this RFC. Do you?
No, it's being discussed, right?
Discussed, meaning that we don't know yet if this can potentially reach the language.
Yeah, would be a really good addition, to be honest. It's one of these things that I'm like, why isn't this in the language?
Already, yeah, like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah. But it has been discussed before, and I think there were some details that people didn't agree on. Again, circling back to maybe the committee is standing in the way here.
Right.
Like, I as a framework author, library author, I will be fine with whatever internals decide on. Just pick something, like even if there are some small nitpicks. If function autoloading works, then it's fine. I don't really care if it's one way or another, because this is such a low-level feature that will be handled by Composer's autoloader anyway.
Right.
Just do it.
They might as well include the Composer guy on it, right? Like
they are involved, right? Aren't they?
I hope he is, because he will be the one using this. Like nobody else will use this thing. Like this is not the user-land feature, right? So
exactly.
Interesting fact, the creator, I'm just looking at the RFC right now, is on draft, as you said, so it's being discussed. And the author is Anthony Ferreira, which is one of very experimental dudes on PHP. Like he does a lot of experiments, which is awesome.
Function, was it actually, are you looking at the right one? Let me double check.
Function autoloading being proposed, I'm not using it the right one.
No.
Yes, this is not the right one.
It's Robert Landers, who's also working on a new generics, runtime generics, by the way. So,
oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Okay, now I'm looking at the correct one. Proposed by Paul M. Jones and P.M. Jones, which is the same person. Okay.
Oh, it's actually discarded. No,
under discussion. It's what I see. Under discussion as we speak. Oh. Yeah.
I don't know.
And the API for this is SPL_autoload_register _function_loader, which is a very good name for a function. But yeah. This is what we have. Yes.
Autoload functions. I don't know. I'm confused, Nuno.
Chat. Today we are here on Urgent PHP episode number 3. One question for Brent from Churking. Does Brent work on Tempest every day? That's a good question.
Oh, that's a good question. Not every day. I mean, things get in the way, but every
work,
week.
family. I feel you.
Yeah. No, yeah, but every week, and there are a handful of core contributors who do a lot of work as well. So yeah.
One question from Pils Keynes. Should we become a voters of the RFCs? I think like to become a voter, you need to get karma, and karma is given by merit, I think, right? You have to have contributed to the PHP internals before, which is not my case, and I don't know if it's your case, Brent. Have you contributed to?
No, except for criticizing here and there, but
except for saying bullshit about them.
Actually, to be honest, I really don't believe in this system. So even if I were offered voting rights, I wouldn't want to contribute to it.
Right.
So no.
Okay.
In my case, at least. No.
Okay.
I really think there are better ways to manage a project the size of PHP.
All
but we've talked about it in previous episodes, which you can listen to, by the way, on all platforms, right? But I just heard that Spotify is down, so...
Oh, it is?
Just stay here on YouTube.
Just by the way, this podcast have become a little bit more serious. So now we actually have the episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, YouTube, literally everywhere, okay? I'm going to send you guys the link of the transistor.fm page, which allows you to literally subscribe to all these various platforms, which is awesome. Yeah. Moving forward,
if we're so serious, Nuno, if we're so serious, maybe we should tell our mom as well that we're doing a podcast. I don't know. I'll let her know after this live
Moms? Why?
That's a thing. That's a thing. Like when your mom listens to your podcast, you've made it.
Oh, you made it. Okay. Structs in PHP. Dude, what is this, man? I haven't read it, but I know that you have been into it. So let me know what it is.
Yeah, no, there are no structs in PHP. There are no structs coming to PHP. But there was another RFC that was... it's interesting. It's interesting. We started from classes in PHP 7, right, where type properties were introduced. And we got more and more syntax to get rid of all the boilerplate. So... we got property promotion to move properties to the constructor definition so that you don't have to declare them 3 times instead of 1. And then property hooks and async visibility and read-only. All of these things help you write less code to still be able to deal with data in a typed way, which is really nice. And so now there's a new proposal to just get rid of the constructor altogether and to move all those properties just to the class definition. It's so less code to write, not bad, but at the same time I'm like, maybe we should stop and think for a second whether this is really the way to go. Right. But now I am introducing another opinion to the committee already, so I'm not I'm making the problem worse. But my opinion is that look, we see a need for having something to represent data in a typed way in many PHP projects, and I think that's a really good pattern, especially combined with actions, right, where you push in DTOs and static analysis on top of that, really great. But trying to shove everything into classes and then having promoted properties and then this new without constructor syntax, maybe it's better to just have something entirely separate from classes. I call them structs, I think, based on Go and Rust, but in C#, I believe they are called records, but just something that has no methods, just data that you can create new instances of based on some kind of blueprint that's been defined, where data is represented as an object that it's type checked, like just classes with public properties without all the syntax overheads. That's basically what I'm saying. So that was a thought experiment of mine. I've talked about this before a number of times where I mentioned structs before. So yeah, just something that came up with this new RFC. I'm like, can we just get structs, please? In my opinion.
So basically, you want some sort of typed arrays, basically, right? That almost typed arrays, because you also want to. So I feel you. So you basically want a way, because today on PHP, like people think that they need classes for everything. Yeah. So it goes in the same mental model of. For example, I use functions for some stuff, and people think that behavior should always be in classes. Like, not everything needs to be a class in PHP.
Oh, yeah.
in your opinion, like especially with the action pattern, for example, we see these arguments being passed, and like we have arrays, of course, but then at some point it's just too much for an array. But also, like, it probably shouldn't be a class either, because you don't want to have public visibilities and all these definitions that belong to a class to just represent data, and for that reason you want to struct. Right.
By the way, interesting, on Twitch here, CodeSharer says struct seems just like a semantic thingy, which indeed it is.
Indeed it is, yeah.
That's kind of what programming is about, right? Like building syntax on top of syntax on top of syntax, just to make it more convenient for us to interact with zeros and ones. So that's kind of my vision on that. I think it would be useful. You call it typed arrays. I would, like, array in PHP is such a big thing. It's everything basically. So I would try not to use the word array, because people will get like an idea of what we mean with it. I would just say a data type, like we have enums, like we have classes, just struct to represent data in a structured and typed way.
I'm wondering if on Go structs can also have like methods on it, because on Rust they can.
I don't think so. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. But Rust is beautiful when it comes to
when it comes with everything. I know, dude.
Yeah,
I know. I don't think on on Go you cannot. Apparently, it's just literally functions in structs, and that's it. And they are two different things. So, which is okay, But I feel you. I agree with you. I think like we definitely overuse classes. We definitely overuse arrays, and a man in the middle, basically, that would be able to represent typed data would be absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm doing PHP, I'm going to be honest. Like I feel like every single time I create a class for a DTO, I feel like I'm overdoing it. Like almost feels too much to have a separate file, a separate class, just for representing data in a more typed way. And you also end up with 1,000 if you have a project with the action pattern. If you start using a class for every single DTO, you end up with 1,000 DTOs, which is just too much.
But I still like that approach over not having it typed anyway, because with a class, and I agree it's not optimal, but at least you get proper insights into what kind of data you're dealing with from static analysis, from within your IDE. So I go through the motions to actually do it, not because it's the best, like the most convenient, but it's still, I get a lot of benefit from it. By the way, Lakuzmish here in chat asking whether it's inconvenient with DTOs because you need like a separate file, the same thing you mentioned. You actually don't. You can add classes in the same file. The only reason we separate them is because we follow PSR4 class autoloading standard, which Composer's autoloader builds on top of. So it's a standard, but you don't need to. You just put everything in a class and just require the file, and it works.
I love your way of thinking. I agree with you, but like if you are reviewing a project with two classes in the same file in PHP in 2026, people will instantly say this is legacy code or whatever. You know what I mean?
For the record, I was just replying to both.
I know.
And like I would put it in separate files. I'm fine with it. But if people really feel bothered by it, I'm just saying that you don't have to. You don't have to.
Yeah, because what are you saying is that technically you can have, let's say we have a create user action, you can have a create user DTO on top of that class definition that is used to type or to represent the given argument on the action. Yeah, that works. But again, I wouldn't do it, because then if you wanted to actually include that class on testing, you wouldn't have a way of doing it. Because Composer wouldn't work autoloading that given class.
Yeah, you would need your own kind of autoloader maybe.
Almost, yes.
But it is possible. But I wouldn't do it because we have a standard way, and I'm not really bothered by it.
Ozark Park is saying, will this video be available later? Yes, this video will be published on my YouTube channel this Friday.
Cool.
Adrian is saying what?
That's quick. Yeah, Adrian was saying that he doesn't really need DTOs, just inject models and strings and integers into actions, which the point I wanted to make is that I use DTOs. DTO is such a vague name, but just, I have typed data all throughout my code base, not just in actions, like for request classes and stuff like that. I really like to just have like an object that has typed data.
The question comes to
structs, but
right. The question comes like, agent, what do you do when you have 20 arguments?
Yeah.
Like, what do you do when you have 20 arguments? Do you, I assume you don't have 20 arguments on the handle method of the action, because what the other options are, like you have an array, but then you would have to specify the shape of the array on the PHP doc, which end up being the same stuff. So, and the last option is not type anything. We just accept an array of data untyped, and PHP standard wouldn't be happy. Split into smaller actions.
Yeah, but
what do you mean exactly? Because let's assume a web form, right? A web form of creating like, a resource that involves like 10 fields, which is not uncommon. Like, it's actually very common. Like on Laravel Cloud, for example, creating an environment involves a bunch of choices. Like, which node of version do you use? Which PHP version do you use? What is the name of the environment? What is the slug? What is blah, blah, blah? So all these fields, like they are they are mutating the system on the same transaction, like on the same exact split second. So even though you could do it in actions, but like, I don't know if there would be a good solution. 20 arguments, sweet job. What do you mean, Joe? The fuck?
Just get out of there if you encounter such a code base.
Yes.
If you encounter 20 arguments in an action class, if they are already using that kind of pattern, I would say you're in a good place. But there's some room for improvement still. But
yes.
There's definitely worse. Definitely worse.
Chat, moving a little bit to my development setup in 2026. So Brandon and I have this idea of discussing a little bit what is the perfect development setup in 2026 for PHP and Laravel developers. So I'm going to share my setup. Brand, you share yours, and I think like the entire chat should just share your setup in 2026. Just write in the chat what you guys using. So I'm using a MacBook M4 Max. And I went with 36 gigabytes. If I know what I know right now, I would have to go with 128 gigabytes because Streamlabs, Chrome, PHP Storm, like all this software running just consumes all my memory RAM, literally. So what else? I have Ghostly as a terminal. Ghostly is awesome. I have Ghostly with Cappuccino Macchiato theme. I have JetBrains. I love JetBrains Mono font, dude. Like I'm being a user of that font since it's out, basically. I'm using it everywhere, terminal, IDE, and everything. So JetBrains Mono font. I typically use a big font size because I do think, like, in general, I like to have, like, the font as big as possible. So Ghostly for coding with AI, I'm using Claude Code or Open Code, depending on which model I'm using. The latest model of Claude and GPT 5.5 on Open Code with Kimi. What else? Then I go to the editor, which I use two editors. I use actually PHP Storm when I need like actual open a project, understanding of the structure, actually, do some proper work. And I use Sublime Text for quick notes. I think like PHP Storm is my main IDE. Sublime Text is my editor. Does that make sense? I think it does, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Even though a lot of people have been mentioning that Z is actually something in the betweens. I haven't tried it, but you guys let me know in the chat. What else? In terms of workflow, I kind of pivot between a full editor and being like on the Claude AI. I feel like I've been actually so. When AI initially came out with GitHub Copilot, I was enjoying. I think I felt like, okay, this is like the perfect vibe AI thing, because GitHub Copilot was finishing like for each loops, was finishing a small method, but not like crafting a big feature, Then after a year, we saw this AI is coming, like Cloud Code 4.6, with the possibility of crafting an entire feature by themselves. And what I have noticed is that I was using less and less an IDE, and I was constantly spending my time on the AI UI, and I felt like I wasn't enjoying the craft. So now I'm like in the middle. I'm literally using PHP Storm for coding my features, and I fall back to AI when I want like a big portion of code that I know it's boring, but I know exactly where it's going. So I'm kind of exactly in the middle of this two approaches. So anyways, Brent, what are you using and what is your workflow looks like right now?
Yeah, but about AI first, I'm glad to hear you say that, because
Yes.
I find myself in kind of the same position. I spent a couple of days like just vibe coding a new feature. I don't remember what it was. And then after it was all finished, I just felt like I have zero like ownership feeling about this.
It sucks balls, dude.
It's not fun.
It sucks balls, honestly. Yes, I know, dude. I'm gonna publish. By the way, chat, I'm gonna publish a video about exactly this topic tomorrow on my channel.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I'm really looking forward to that. So I'm now using it for like the boring parts, the repetitive parts, the parts where I've already written one example and I need to like do 100 more for tests. For I was working on this markdown parser where there's a lot of repetitive work as well. Like these parts, super cool. Front end stuff, I don't like doing front end, so having an AI agent do it for me and then being able to tweak a little bit, it's actually better at it than I am. So perfect. But I still get to write PHP and I enjoyed it. And you know what's super important? Because I still handwrite code, I actually still understand what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I understand what's going on. And that's so important. And we really should not forget about this in the era of AI. Like it's fun to be able to move forward quickly, but being able to understand code and what it does and how it works under the hood, that's such an important skill, and it's likely going to be one of the most important skills in the near future. So don't get rid of that entirely in your programming career, because it's just so important to understand what you're doing. Apart from that, there's one big thing I disagree on when it comes to dev setup. And I want to see folks in chat say it with me. You need a light color scheme. There is no discussion. Nuno, I did a video about that as well a long time ago. No, but it's actually like it's easier to read on the eyes. The problem so many people have with light color schemes is that they are in a super dark room, they have a light color scheme and it blares from their screen and they say, oh, it hurts, it burns, oh no. That's not the way your room should be set up. And I did a lot of reading on this topic, and I actually did a talk about it a long time ago. So light color schemes, I challenged people to use a light color scheme for a couple of weeks. I did this numerous times on social media and on conference and stuff like that. And actually, so many people tell me afterwards, I'm sticking with light color schemes because they are so much easier on my eyes. Just putting that out there. Apart from that, I'm of course with PHP Storm, doing all of that, like all of my work in PHP Storm. Not because I have to, but because I want to.
Which one do you use for AI UI? Do you use like the Junie thing or?
No, not Junie. I use Claude or Codex depending on the task, but it's all integrated in PHP Storm, right? So I just use the AI chat there,
right?
So that I don't have to go to the terminal. And there's now this experiment. I don't know if you saw this. I did a live stream with Roman 2 weeks ago where we introduced a lightweight build of PHP Storm, and it's still kind of an experiment.
I haven't tried it. Is it good?
It's really good. Yeah, we're making some final changes so that it's just easier to install and to manage updates and stuff, because that's really important. And it's still very experimental, but I've been using it now for a week or so. And I really enjoy it. It's a lot faster, and almost everything that I need is in there. And if I miss something, you can still enable it. So it's fine.
Right.
So yeah, most of my dev setup is just PHP Storm and then a web browser. There's not much more to it for me.
What do you use as a laptop and as terminal?
Yeah, I have a Mac Mini, like M3 or M4.
Wait, what do you use when you're traveling? Like, you don't have a laptop? Like,
I also have a laptop, but just a MacBook Air. I don't need anything heavy or because I have my Mac Mini here, which is good enough for my videos and live streaming. and I have like also an M3.
So you have
MacBook
your
Air,
setup
something
like in both laptops.
Yeah, but
Wow.
my laptop setup is just like it's PHP Storm and the browser. I kind of make it a point to be able to start from a clean install pretty easily. I don't want to like have such a fine-tuned system that I'm totally stuck with it. I when I was young, teenager, I was like, of course, I grew up with Windows, and then I switched to switched to Linux, and most of the time on Ubuntu, but then some other flavors as well. But and it was really cool. And I was fine-tuning all the knobs and pulls and stuff like that. And then I started working like my first job, and I just got a Mac because it was all they had. And I realized that, oh, this is super easy. I just don't have to worry about anything. Yeah. It's just turn on and I'm done. And that's kind of what I want for my dev setup as well. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be too fancy. Like for terminal, for example, I've just used the built-in terminal with PHP Storm. For database tooling, the built-in, but that's kind of the thing of an IDE, of course, but like also built-in with PHP Storm. I just like it's good for me. I'm used to it, and it takes very little effort to set up, which is what I like the most. Mm-hmm. So yeah, on my laptop.
Which browser do you use?
Chrome.
Chrome, interesting. So I use.
Should I switch?
No, I use Firefox. So actually, I use 3 browsers. I use Safari for streaming. I use Chrome for a lot of else stuff, and I use Firefox for my personal stuff. I just find it better just to have everything isolated, because I have like sessions and everything with a lot of email, and then I have my own email on Firefox, and then I have like Safari with. Like browser history is a big thing. The last thing you want is like leak your browser history on stream. So I use Safari just for that.
Sure, yeah.
So,
no, I get that.
So I have 3 browsers literally at the minute.
I have 4 Chrome profiles. So
profiles, interesting. And then you change profiles every single time you want to. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have a work profile, I have a personal profile, and some other stuff as well. So
one question from Transcode.
One for streaming. Yeah.
Right. What do you think about Brave browser?
Yeah, opinion. I know. My colleague Roman uses it. I don't know. I think there is something to say about privacy and stuff like that. But to be honest, I don't know if this is like a hot take, but I'm so tired of it, because I remember 10 years ago or something like that, people were telling me, oh, we all need to switch to WhatsApp because it's encrypted and it's safe and secure. And then I'm like, yeah, it is today. And then a couple of years from now, things will change. And look what WhatsApp is today. I mean, it's not all that great anymore. It's all open. So now, then people tell me a couple of years ago, oh, you should switch to Telegram because it's not better. It's gonna end up in exactly the same place. And I feel the same thing about browsers. Firefox, by the way, also not all that private, and they also do stuff with your data for advertisement.
100%.
So nothing is truly private and honest. If you want total security, my number one advice is just unplug your internet connection and start reading a book or something, because nothing is secure on the internet.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I feel that.
I kind of have the mindset of I try not to do anything that could get me into trouble if it were public,
Yeah.
Just so.
That's also my thinking, like on this problem we saw in the PHP world, but also like on the JavaScript package managers, supply chain attacks.
Yeah.
So everyone needs to assume that your laptop is already hacked.
Yeah.
This is what I tell people. Like, you cannot have SSH keys without passwords. You cannot have like everything you have right now on your laptop, you need to assume it's already hacked. So you need to have multi-factor authentication on pretty much everything. You need to just assume that you got hacked already, and how can you protect yourself from that? Patrician Code is saying Linux have some real private solutions. Yeah. I mean, Linux is not like, they also are eligible to receive supply chain attacks. More than everything else, I honest, right?
And then like, and I'm not trying to be conspiracy here, but then there is some kind of bug discovered in Linux that or maybe like a real backdoor, or I don't know what, and then things are bad anyway. So I just like we want privacy, but it's a dream. It's a fallacy. I don't think it's possible. So I try to just be conscious about that and not do anything weird that could get me in trouble if it were public. Yeah.
100%. Talking about PHP, back to PHP a little bit. Brent, you started something called Getting Started with PHP. What is that?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Got a lot of great feedback from it. So I was asking myself this question of, when someone asks how they can get started with PHP, where do we point them to? And you see this question on the PHP subreddit, for example. You see it quite often. And we always point them to PHP the right way. So I started reading that because I was like, we're sharing this
so
link
bad,
here
man.
and there.
It's so bad.
It's not a getting started guide. It's a reference. It links to other places. There is some good information there, but it's not something a starter can read and know PHP. Yeah, maybe it doesn't list Pint or Pest. I don't know.
Not only that, like it's just not realistic. You know what I mean? Like people are like realistically, people are doing Laravel and Symfony. That's what people do, man. That's what 99% of the people do. And
so
anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
No, So I was wondering where can I point them to? And what I usually do is point them to Laracasts, like the PHP course, which is really great. I find Jeffrey is doing a great job there. However, the problem with video is that it doesn't really age all that well, and then making a new updated video course takes a lot of time. Also, many people don't want to watch videos, they just want to read. Why would they watch a 10-minute video when they can read a 2-minute blog post is always a valid question, I find. I'm saying this on a video medium. I know, I realize. but in some cases, I think written content has its value.
Right.
So yeah, I was like, what is there? And I did some looking around, and apart from some paid courses that were very outdated, I found nothing. And so I just started writing something, getting started with PHP, like something that I am proud of to be able to share when someone asks, how do I get started with PHP? So it's a free course for everyone. And there's lots of work to do. And I'm now in the phase where I'm asking people with PHP experience to read it and pitch in and give their feedback. And I got lots of great feedback. So I now need to spend some time on actually going through all of that. And then there is so much more to be written. I've written 8 chapters now. There is like at least 10 more that I'm gonna add, because like for now it's all very, very basic, very intro, but at least it will get you started. It will make it so that you can run a PHP script basically. Right. But now I need to add some chapters that go into stuff like async, for example, but also easier stuff like classes and arrays and like some more in-depth. Of course, I've already talked about classes and autoloading and typing and stuff, but there is just so much more to tell about it. So that's what I'm doing. It's a fun project.
It's a good idea. I feel like, especially if you're having fun, you are 100% sure helping others with that content. So
I hope so.
And if there is someone who can write stuff, handwrite stuff, is you. At least I think your blog is probably one of the best blogs in PHP, if not the best. So,
thank you.
Chat, what do you guys think? Do you guys think Teacher.io is the best blog in PHP or not? What do you guys think?
Whoa. You're making me blush now. No, but yeah. I mean, I've been doing that for almost 10 years now, so I do feel like I know a thing or two about PHP, and also how to write it, because that's important. It's not because you know a lot of things that you know how to write it in a way that's accessible to newcomers. So yeah, it's what I'm trying to do, and it's cool to do it open source and to have people pitch in with lots of great feedback. Right. So I really appreciate that.
Brent, just back to the topic of PHP the right way. I was just opening it a little bit, and let's go. You just mentioned Pint. Honestly, I was not even thinking about that. But there is a section called it Code Style Guide. Okay, how do you style your code and blah, blah, blah. They talk about PSR and, so far all good. But then they go all the way down. To style your code, you use, call it PHP CS, and you use PHP CS Fixer. Pint today is the most downloaded fixer in the PHP. Like, if you go to the numbers, You see Pint literally being the most downloaded per day CS fixer. It's not even mentioned here. Like literally no mentions here. You go to testing frameworks, you see PHP Unit is a default testing framework for writing unit tests in PHP applications. You go to Laravel, you don't see PHP Unit as a default. It's literally Past. And Laravel is the most used one. So maybe like Past deserves a better highlight here. And you probably, let me just search for Laravel here.
It is mentioned there, right?
It is. Well, I hope it is. Because otherwise we'll be fucked up.
Not all that much. But then there's like this...
It is, but like this. They are mentioning Laravel in the same way they are mentioning Fuel PHP, LinkedIn, which I don't even know. I don't even know what LinkedIn is, and that's a red flag already.
Yeah. Nuno, while you're saying this, I just realized I forgot to mention Pint as well. I'm mentioning Pest and mentioning Laravel like a lot, but Pint I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'm going to add it to my to-do list now.
Where you mean? Oh, when you're
getting
started?
On the getting started.
Jesus,
it's gonna be added. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Talking about Past PHP, my friends, Laracon US is coming, okay? Laracon US is coming and will be the biggest event in the planet. So I want to give you like some updates on Laracon US and why do I think you guys should go. So in case you don't know, Laracon US is the flagship conference of Laravel, of course, is happening on US. There will be speakers like Taylor Otwell, Aaron Francis, and more. And I will be there as well. I will be presenting to you Past 5, which is the biggest Past release ever. Like, after Past 4, I thought that's it. I won't be able to do such a big release again. And, because it's just impossible. There is so much you can put into a testing framework, right? And Past PHP has a bunch of stuff already. Browser testing, mutation testing, stress testing. Like, there's so much stuff on it already. And I thought, okay, this will be impossible to do another release, but, there is Past 5 coming. So Past 5 will introduce actually 5 new features, which you guys are going to absolutely love. And that will be done on day 1 Laracon US and released on day 1 Laracon US as well. On Laravel, on the open source team, we are cooking as fuck. And a lot of stuff is coming, meaning that we have been working for the past 2 months on getting new stuff, literally a batch of stuff prepared for this Laracon US. So there's a lot of announcements being done on stage by Taylor Otwell and the team, and you guys are going to love it. Laracon US is happening on 28 July this month. Brett, are you going?
No, it's a little bit too far. Some of my colleagues are going, but it's
Who's going from JetBrains?
Roman is, and then 1 or 2 internal PHP Storm developers are always going as well, and then 1 more salesperson.
1 more salesperson. Okay. Well, Laracon US is happening, chat. If you guys haven't checked that already, go Google Laracon US and get your ticket. PHP version stats. What is this? What is this, dude? And what do you have to tell me about this?
Yeah, I also wanted to tell you that I'm almost done with forgetting about Pint. Just wanted to.
You're literally fixing it as we speak.
I'm fixing it right now. I'm pressing commit and I'm writing Tempest deploy.
I'm looking at these numbers of PHP version stats. So in case you don't know, chat, PHP version stats is something that Brand runs every 6 months apparently, and it tells the percentage of. It has like this sort of table. I'm going to send you the link, by the way, of the PHP adoption, right?
Yeah, so what we look at is packages has some statistics that are public on how many packages are downloaded with which PHP versions. And so tracking that over time is really interesting because you can see in some graphs how people are or not updating their PHP versions. And so I've been doing this for 5 years now, something like that. And before me, it was Jordi from Packages who was doing it, but he stopped doing. So I asked him, like, can I continue with it? Because I think it's really important. And then I added some more data to it as well. So I'm using data from Packages, but I'm also looking at the top 1,000 most popular packages in the PHP ecosystem. And then I'm looking at their requirements, right? Their minimum requirements of how are they keeping up to date? Because if you have some packages that are still supporting PHP 5.6 as a supported version in the top 1,000, that's kind of weird. And I think it's worth asking questions there. And so what's really interesting is that this data is growing over time. So with every edition, you get to see a little bit more of the trend throughout the years, right? I just keep updating this, and something that always stands out to me, and I have a very what shall I say, like controversial opinion on this maybe, but I think from the open source side, we should very much push for using more up-to-date PHP versions.
Isn't the case on Symfony and Laravel? It is, right?
No, well, our definition of up-to-date might differ.
What do you mean?
That's
You want to
one.
be on the on 8.5?
Not
like
the
from
latest,
the
not the latest. No, not the latest. But just some numbers here. When you look at the top 1,000 packages, around 30% is still supporting 7.4 or lower.
Oh wow. Okay.
I think, and like honestly, I think this is holding the community, holding it back. When we're talking about supported versions, well, PHP now has always 4 supported versions, 2 versions in active development that are still getting bug fixes, and then the 2 versions before that are getting still security updates. So that's 8.5, 8.4, 8.3, and 8.2. And at the end of this year, it will be 8.3 and 8.4 going to security support, and then 8.5 and 8.6 when it's released in active development. So for me, that is the minimum. Like, all packages should target today 8.2 at the minimum. It makes no sense to support anything lower than that, because these are unsupported PHP versions that, unless you go through like something like, I think Red Hat is hosting its own version and Microsoft is hosting its own version, like, it makes no sense to support anything lower than 8.2. And the point I'm making is that open source authors have so much power to push the community forwards, more than we're doing right now.
Right, because you think that, for example, if Laravel were to go, Laravel 14, for example, were to go PHP 8.5, people will just be forced to migrate to PHP 8.5, and for that reason, like probably like 2-3% of these people would just move to that because of that reason.
Yeah,
and they do.
However,
they don't do it otherwise. Yeah, I feel you.
Like from Laravel's point of view, I think 8.4 would be more realistic. 8.3 maybe, because I get it. Like, you don't want to like be cutting edge all the time. That makes sense as well, but still supporting. And I actually think Laravel is just supporting 8.2, right, as the minimum version. I don't think they are supporting.
We do 8.3 right now on Laravel 13, and Laravel 14 will be 8.4, because we support. What Symfony does behind the scenes as well, and Symfony supports only the up-to-date versions, which is 8.4.
Symfony and Laravel are actually very much okay in this regard. But when we look at the top 1,000 packages, and these are just 1,000, right? Like, these are the most downloaded ones, but they are not like the whole data set.
Right.
These numbers really shift towards. Well, I think it's around like exactly 50% of packages that support outdated versions that I think shouldn't be happening. And then you get the argument of, oh, but you don't want to break people's code base by just bumping versions. But the thing is, this is the beauty about packages. Like, all the older versions
will continue to work.
They will continue to work. Nothing breaks unless you want to update. If you want the latest versions of like package number 100 in the top 1,000, and it requires PHP 8.2 or above, well, if you're on a lower version, then you're forced to update. But that's not a big deal. Everyone should update all their projects every year with every new PHP release. I'm not saying go to 8.6, but go to at least 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, because the thing is, like, the longer you postpone these updates, for years and years and years, it's not getting easier.
No,
like,
it's the opposite, actually.
It's the opposite. If
you
just stay up to date with modern tooling like Rector and code fixtures like Pint, it's pretty easy to just automate all of this. When I was working at Spatie, we had these client projects, and it was one of the hard-written rules in the contracts. Like, we're going to spend time every year to update your Laravel installation, to update your PHP installation, because it's just important for performance, for security, and because, third reason, developers are also happy to use a little more modern syntax compared to like they don't want to be stuck in 7 era. But this is just something we did, and clients had to agree, and it works. It's a cultural shift more than anything. And so this is why I keep writing these blog posts and keep repeating myself.
No, it's good. It's good. In chat, for those who are listening at home and who don't have the stats in front of you, so what we are seeing right now is that PHP 7.4 have 5% downloads. PHP 8.0 have 1%. Okay, so again, there is more people using PHP 7.4 than PHP 8.0, which is interesting. Then we have PHP 8.1 with 5%, PHP 8.2 with 14%, PHP 8.3 with 24%, PHP 8.4 with 32% being the most used version of PHP. Yeah. And then we have PHP 8.5, which is the latest and the most stable one, with 16%. Now, 16% tells me that roughly 2 out of 10 people are using already the latest version of PHP, which is good. Just by the way, on Past PHP currently, with Past, the current version of Past, which is Past 4, we support PHP 8.3. For Past 5, we are going to support PHP 8.4. And which will be also the version supported by Laravel 14. So we'll be up to the release cycle of the major stuff, basically.
Hey, Nuno, quick question. Can I run to the door real quickly because someone's at my door?
Yeah, go. It's all
right.
Yes. But yeah. Brox is saying the following. By the way, Enterprise still uses PHP 8.1. That's not a good thing because PHP 8.1 is not even supported. Admo is saying the volume is a little bit low. Is just for me? I don't know, chat. You guys let me know. How is the volume for everyone else except for Emmers? Is the volume okay? Let me know. Transcode is saying the following. I use PHP 8.5 in my project now. With Laravel Forge, is really easy to upgrade. Yep. I'm using Laravel Cloud now for pretty much everything, but Laravel Forge is still very good. I'm 100% sure. PHP 8.4 broke Nuno's codebase. Can you elaborate, dude? Rox is saying the following. I stopped using PHP Unit because it forced at PHP 8.4. You can use the old versions of PHP Unit. They are still maintained, so it's all good. The volume is a little bit too low. Oh, really? Well, I cannot bump the values. It's like Brent's volume is low. I cannot bump his...
Hey, are you buddy. Criticizing my volume here? It's totally fine.
No. So it's the same story as usual. I cannot bump your volume, so I have to lower our volume. Therefore, all the volume is low. But that's fine. Post-production will be nice.
Yeah.
Transcode is saying the following. Hi, Nuno. I have a question about Laravel Forge website. When do you think add login with Google or Socialite? I may have to ask that to support. Zoro is saying the volume is fine. Okay. Only a bit. Oh, okay, that's fine. So basically, like, this will be subject to post-production, so we'll be chilling. Friday video will be, like, high, volume-wise, so. But yeah, Brent, we need to find this, like, a long-term solution for this volume situation, because I don't know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's your side, though. Like, even in your streams, your volume is low, dude.
No, my volume is fine. What you need to do is you need to equalize both our microphones on your end and then bump it up entirely. I think that's what you're missing. In OBS, you can add these filters on your main mix, and then you just add some gain there.
Oh, okay.
But it needs to be equal, right?
Yeah, they are equal right now, so they both are low. But what you're saying is that now I must have an option on Streamlabs to actually bump it up like hardcore to the latest.
You add a filter to it. It's called gain or something, or additional gain, something like that, and then you can add some more gain there.
Oh, so I would add gain to you then only.
To both of us. You first make sure we're on equal levels.
Right.
And then you bump it up on the main mix.
Interesting.
That's what you should do.
Okay. Yeah. The volume is fine for a lot of people, though. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, it's one person complaining and we're making it into an us problem. No, it's a their problem, Nuno.
Gains are made in the gym. That's right, dude. Muscle, dude. That's muscle. Wow. All right, chat. I think that's it for me. By the way, before you guys go, we have 100 people on the chat right now. So make sure you go all the way down. Click on the subscribe button of my channel. Make sure you subscribe Brandy's channel as well. Super important to support our work. I'm going to have a video on my channel tomorrow. Yesterday, I published a video about Rust. In case you want to learn Rust as a PHP developer. Brent, do you have any ending notes?
Yeah, Rust is such a beautiful language.
It is. You guys should.
But-
So I don't know if I'm gonna do actually a video course on my channel. So yesterday I published a video episode 1. Let's
Yeah.
call it that way. And I was expecting like, so there's a lot of people who are saying like, I'm enjoying it. You should keep going and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
At the same time, the viewership is not really like up to my PHP levels. Like if I talk about type
Yeah.
PHP or async PHP, it's just, you know. So I don't know. You guys let me know, okay? You guys let me know.
You need a second YouTube channel, Nuno, and just more work. That's what you need.
A second YouTube channel? No way, dude. Like one channel is already too much, man. No way. No way. Starting another YouTube channel from scratch, just no way, dude. Like no way.
For real ending notes, make sure to subscribe and also go look out for the podcast if you prefer audio on the go or something like that.
Yeah.
Just search for Urgent PHP when Spotify works again, or any other podcast.
And I told you this will be published Friday. Actually, it's tomorrow. So this video will be published tomorrow. Yes, and the video about AI and AI affecting us all in terms of not feeling the ownership of the code in the craft, that will be published next Friday. This is what I
Okay, cool. Very nice.
Okay, my brother is saying no, so I don't know anymore. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, chat, either Friday or tomorrow there will be
no promises. Do not make any promises, Nuno.
I don't know anymore. Okay, well that's it. All right,
tell
chat.
them to subscribe and they will see.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel and you will see. All right. All right, chat. That's it for me. I'll have some more work to do. Catch you guys next time. Brand, thank you so much for coming once again.
Okay.
See you all next time, chat. Bye bye.
Bye bye.